Hello, RAP students. This is Dr. Smith here with you today to talk fractions. We're actually going to start adding fractions today. So, we've already talked about proper fractions, and so now we're going to add them together. And we'll start with something as simple as 1/4 plus 2/4. If we were to draw a picture showing us 1/4 it would look like this. And over here, if we drew a picture showing 2/4, it would look like this. So now we need to add 1/4 with 2/4. The denominators, as you can see, are the same in both of these fractions. That's great. That makes it a lot easier. So for now, we're only going to add fractions that have the same denominator. So if we count up all of the shaded boxes, we will have our answer, which will be shaded boxes are 1, 2, 3. And because they all are dealing with 4 as the denominator, that means there are 4 different parts to each one. We're going to keep the same 4 parts because we did not go over 4. So when you add fractions that have the same denominator, you just keep the same denominator with the answer, and then you add the numerators together. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, let's try another one. Let's try a little bit bigger number. 2 plus 2 over 12 plus 7/12. So we're going to first make sure that both have the same denominator, and they do. And then we're going to bring the denominator over to our answer. Next, we're going to look at the numerator. And we're going to add those numbers. 2 plus 7. 2 plus 7 is 9. So our answer is 9/12. Now, for some of you that feel that you've got a good handle on that, here's the next step. The one thing that you can do is see if you can simplify. We've done that lesson already. Let's check the factors for each one, okay? Can 9 go into 12 once, just once? It cannot. So let's see what the other math facts or factors are that go with 9. We had 9 times 1, but we can't do that one because it doesn't go into it evenly. Let's do 3 times 3. Are there any more? I think that's the only one. So we're going to use that fact. Let's see that factor. Let's see if 12 has a factor of 3. Is 3 times anything 12? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. So they match. So we're going to simplify this using these two numbers here. Remember our simplification? If that's a word, it might be simplify. 3/4. So we've simplified that fraction from 9/12 to 3/4. If you weren't really sure about this one, how to do the simplifying, you need to just make sure you go back to that lesson and practice that some more before you move on. Make sure you have it, because That's something you do anytime you're doing a problem with fractions, okay? All right, so I'm gonna give you one more. We want to see if you got the hang of adding fractions that have the same denominator, okay? Or like denominators. Let's do 2/6 or 2/6 plus 5/6. Now, do they both have the same denominator? Yes, they do. So, okay, let's relax a little bit. So, all we're going to do is bring that denominator over to the answer. Now, all that's left to do is to add our numerators. 2 plus 5 equals 7. Does anybody see something that's a little off here? Is this a proper fraction, 7/6? It's not. Actually, if we drew a picture of the answer, we do 1. This is the shaded area. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because we have 7. So we would have to draw a whole another set of 6 to get the entire answer. And then we do our 7 over here. So, looking at the picture, this makes it a little bit easier since we've gone over mixed numbers already. But if you are a little shaky or it didn't come to mind right away, you need to do a little bit more work on mixed numbers. That's supposed to be something that you recognize right away that that's not a proper fraction. So, if you understand this picture is one whole, and this one over here is 1/6. That's our answer as a mixed number. However, I don't want you to just focus on the pictures because you can't do that all your life. You can't do that on every math test, especially the more difficult the tests become. You just have to remember that when the numerator and the denominator are the same, that equals 1, okay? So when you see this and you said that's not a proper fraction, the next thing that you can do, if this works for you, is do 6 minus 6. But we haven't done subtraction, but it kind of works the same, okay? Now, if you don't want to do it that way, for the people that are pretty good at math, you can go ahead and do that. But if that is a little confusing because we haven't done the problems with subtraction, come back over here and say to yourself, what is left over once I have 6/6? You look at this number here, how many more puts me to 7? 1 more does. So you just go 1 and keep the same denominator. Because right now, we're keeping it simple. We're doing just the same denominator. You don't have to do anything more difficult than that right this second, because that's all we've covered. All right? We're going to do more. I'm just going to erase these. Remember, this takes practice. So you've seen it, and then you try some problems on your own, like this. And the more you practice it, the better you become, okay? All right, so now let's look at some mixed numbers and see if we can add those together using like denominators, all right? So the first problem we're going to look at is 1/7 plus 5 3/7. Okay, now here's the good thing about this. Again, we have our like denominators. So you can kind of relax, calm down a little bit. You don't have to do anything really difficult. I mean, this still takes work though here. So what I like to do is I like to put my problem like this, even though not everybody likes to do that. Let me tell you why it's a good reason to do it that way. It doesn't mean you can't do it that way, but here, now you can do a little bit of addition the way that you have already learned how to do it. You can go 1 plus 5, excuse me, I gave you the answer, equals 6. Okay? Now, we've already learned just a few minutes ago that when you have the same denominators, when you're doing addition, all you have to do is bring the denominator down, okay? And now we need to add the numerators, which is the top numbers. What is 1 plus 3? 1 plus 3 is 4. And guess what? You've added mixed numbers together. It's that simple. Do you think you can do another one? I'm going to give you another one, okay? So, just so you don't get confused, I'm going to kind of mark that one so that we can separate them really well. The next problem is 4 3/4 plus 6 2/4. So I'm going to do this the way that I really like to do it. Just makes it easier for me to add them together. 2/4. Okay, so let's get started. Whole numbers first. 4 plus 6. That's 10. And now, do we have the same denominator? We do. That's great. Bring it down. Now, let's add the numerators. 3 plus 2 is 5. See anything that we need to talk about here? Okay, great for the people that saw it. This fraction is an improper fraction. So we need to change that, right? What would we change it to? So we know if this is our denominator here, that the denominator and the numerator need to be the same in order to get 1. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this, I'm going to mark this out. 5 minus 4 is how much? So right here, 5 minus 4, what's left over? 1. Okay, so I'm taking a whole away. So where am I going to put my whole? I'm going to put my whole over here and make it a 1. Oh, sorry, wrong digit actually. Here. I bet somebody caught that as soon as I did it. Good job. All right, what's 10 plus 1? 11. And how many is left over here when you took that whole away? This is where the whole came from because it's 4 over 4. What's left? A 1. So now we have a 1 in that place and just bring our denominator down. And guess what? You've done addition. And actually, in a way, you've done subtraction because it works the same way. All right? Good job. Let's see if I have anything more for you. You seem to have done pretty well. I have one more that I want you to try. Once we finish the addition, if you want to go ahead, if you have some papers or something that that allows you to go ahead and try some subtraction, dealing with fractions, try it. See if you can do it, because they're not extremely different. They're very much the same, except one is addition and one is subtraction, okay? You can do it. So let's do one more problem. It's going to be 5 over 6 plus 1 and 1/6. Also, I'm excited because the denominators are the same, yes. As you get comfortable with fractions, doing problems that are more difficult, you'll be excited to see ones like this, okay? So I'm going to put it the way that I like to put it so that I can solve better. Okay, so I'm going to do the whole numbers first. 1 plus 1 is 2. And my denominators are the same, so I'm going to bring them down. And now we just have to add the top number, the numerator. 5 plus 1 is 6. Are you happy with your answer? Or can you do a better job at getting your answer? Can it be simplified? Yes, it can, because the denominator and the numerator are the same here. What does that mean? That means it's a whole. That's the same as saying 1. So it's a whole number. So it goes over here, right? You're going to add that 1 over here. 2 plus 1 is 3. So you don't even have a fraction anymore. That's actually a whole number now. If you got that, you're pretty good. Now do a few more on your own. Get some problems to work on. And as you work on problems, if they don't end up being whole numbers, just remember that you need to simplify your answers at the end. Always ask yourself, can I simplify my answer even more? Okay? Well, I hope that you got a lot out of this segment of adding fractions, and that you might try and do a few subtraction problems with like denominators. I think you'll do quite well if you really got the hang of it, okay? So I look forward to talking to you again as far as dealing with fractions as you continue to work. Remember, it's important for you to exercise your mind as well as your body, and I look forward to talking to you more. Bye-bye.